Okay, we're going to look at the mock DEB 2020. We're going to look at question 6 and we're going to do the correction of errors. Right, first of all, when you get your question, make sure you break it down and read what they're talking about. So in this question, they said retail value. So just first of all, what does retail value mean? It's what you sell the goods for. So again, you wouldn't use retail value unless you were selling. Now this said that they were returned. So the first thing is you need the price that you paid for the goods. So that's problem number one. Without even reading the rest of the question, go find out how much you actually paid for the goods. So the retail value is made up of how much the goods cost you plus what you marked them up for. And they said you're marking them up at 20%. So that means the retail value, 3,300, is 100% what they cost you plus 20% of the profit you want to make. So that equals 120%. You divide by 120 to get 1% and multiply by 100% to get your cost. Now this figure is key. Then they said there's a restocking charge. So usually when you return goods, you get your full amount of money back. Sometimes for the inconvenience or if it costs the seller money, maybe for restocking or delivery or something, they'll charge you for that. And this time they said they're charging 10% of cost. So again, here's a hint in the question that you couldn't use retail value because it said cost. So the restocking charge is going to be 10% of the cost, which is 275. The next thing is you need to know in accountancy, how do you record a restocking charge? So to record a restocking charge, what you should do, you need to add the amount to your creditors and you need to add it to your purchases. So this is what you actually need to do. So if you look at the question, it says these were returned to a supplier. The selling price was cost plus 20%. The supplier issued now. So these were entered. So let's go through the two accounts. So you returned goods, so you know its purchases has been reduced, and your creditors, if you return goods, you owe them less. So let's use Earl. Purchases is something that you do all the time, so it's an expense. So expenses we know belong on this side if we're increasing them, and on this side if we're decreasing them. Now you have sent back the purchases, so you know that you would enter it on this side. Okay. Your creditors, again, the people you owe money to, so they're a liability. Liabilities belong on this side if you're increasing them, and on this side if you're decreasing them. You've sent back goods, so you owe less, so it should be on this side. Now, what they have said is the 2,750 has been entered correctly. The only thing that you did wrong was you forgot about the restocking charge. So how do you enter that? You're going to have to pay 275. So that means you need to say you owe them 275, so that's why it goes in the credit. And why do you owe money? Because of purchases, 275. So there's your two entries. So in your general journal, you will say your purchases are 275 need to be added on to purchases, and creditors need 275 added on. And your note is it's an error of omission because you forgot something, so it's error of omission. So being recorded, omission of restocking charge. Now that would be part A. I am going to do part B, C and D at the same time doing these. B is always your suspense. Now suspense occurs if there's a problem with the debits and credits. So in this particular scenario, you forgot both debit and credit, so there will be no suspense because both things have to be done. The next thing is you need to know, do they affect your profit and loss or do they affect your balance sheet? Now when I did Earl before in the last video, I said if it's an expense or if it's a revenue, it will affect your profit and loss. So let's look here. Purchases is an expense. We said that before. And it's on the debit side. So the expenses are on the debit side. So the expenses have went up. So therefore, this will reduce your profit and loss. So you're going to subtract this. I'll write this for you over here. So you're going to subtract from your profit and loss. Okay, the next thing is creditors. Creditors goes in the balance sheet. Creditors is a liability, right? So they are a liability. Liabilities are found on the credit side if you want to add them. This is on the credit side. So this here in the balance sheet, you're going to add to creditors. So you've done part A, right, as a general journal. Part B, expense wasn't affected here because both debit and credit had to be entered. Part C, The purchases will is an expense, so therefore it affects your profit and loss. Your expense purchases have increased, so therefore you will subtract from your profit and loss, and you want to increase your creditors by 275, and you'll do that in the balance sheet.